got mail.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's that time again to reminisce and relive the past here on the Nostalgia Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Shriver, and I'm so glad to have you here with me on this journey down memory lane. Each week, we'll explore different topics that will transport you back in time, from high school memories, old technology, and past news events, to movies, TV shows, and video games that we all know and love. So whether you're an 80s, 90s, or 2000s kid, or you just love retro things, then you're in the right spot. So join me as we take a dive into the past on the Nostalgia Podcast. Hello everyone, it's great to be back with you for episode 3 of the show. I hope you're having a great week so far. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to get nostalgic with me. Remember, if you have an idea or topic for the show, just go on over to one of our social media pages. On Facebook, just search the Nostalgia Podcast. And on Twitter, we are NostalgiaPod_. While you're there, if you could give us a follow and a like, I'd be very, very grateful. Okay, last week, if you joined us, we played an interview between me and my sister where we began a discussion about our memories of childhood video games, as well as some memories of our hometown of Warrenton, Missouri. The discussion went pretty long, so I broke it into 2 parts, and today we'll be hearing the rest of that interview with my sister. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in to part 2 of the discussion. Enjoy. So I remember Mario 2, Mario 3. Those are my games for the NES.
Okay.
That I remember the most. I wanted to play this for you. Can you hear this?
Oh, yeah.
So that was the regular Mario 1
Mhm.
theme music. All right, let's go to Mario 2.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if it's called Mario Brothers, what's Mario's name? This is
You just
Mario
blew
and
my
Luigi.
mind. Yeah, that's like, what? Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros. Maybe
So
they're
is it
supposed to be-
Mario Mario?
Yeah, it's like the
Luigi
Mario
Mario?
Bros.
'Cause
Like,
I mean,
we wouldn't be the Lauren siblings.
right.
That wouldn't make sense.
Yes, we would.
So
I
yeah,
was
I
in
think you just
charge.
blew our minds there. I'd never thought of it. Like, yeah, why is Mario? It's like that's
That's
his
going to be
last
our
name.
research. That's our takeaway. We'll find out that.
That's crazy. All right, so what do you remember about Mario 2?
Oh, Mario 2.
And I'll play the theme music for that real quick so you can kind of get that in your.
Okay.
Oh,
Does he
fuck.
pull up carrots?
Yeah, you see what he's. It's like
I remember
turnip?
something about that.
It's like a turnip or something. Remember how different it was from Mario
Yeah.
1?
You liked that one a lot. I don't remember
love
playing
that
that one so much, I don't think. Did that have
This-
Bowser or was that 3?
No. So I actually did some research into this. Super Mario 2 is a very interesting story. If you want to look up on YouTube, look up the history of Super Mario 2. It's really
Okay.
interesting. It was the original Mario 2 came out in Japan first, like most games did back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like Mario 1. It looked the exact same, but they just sort of changed the levels around and made it a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they didn't upgrade the characters or graphics or anything. They just used the same system or whatever.
Yeah.
Put out Mario 2, but it was just basically like more levels of Mario 1, but they were super hard. And there was a lot of complaints about it in Japan. And when they tried to bring it to the United States, the executives for Nintendo in the United States they didn't like that version, and they said this is way too difficult. It's just more of Mario 1. We need something fresh, something new, updated.
Wow.
And
Whole
they didn't have a lot
iteration.
of time to do this because
Was ready
Japan
to
was already playing
release.
their version
Yeah.
of Mario 2. We needed ours. So what they did was there was a game called um Doki Doki Panic, I think. And look, on the screen I'm showing you, the game on the left is the game that someone made called Doki Doki Panic. And then they just re-skinned it or put changed the characters out for Mario characters. And they put that game out as Mario 2. So it wasn't even originally a Mario game. That's why it's so different. And he's throwing like bottles of potions and turnips, and there's not even like coins. It's like you're picking up cherries, and like all the characters are different. It's like the enemies, there's no Bowser, but
Wow.
remember they had Mario and you could play as the princess who I think could fly. Remember her?
Yeah.
You could play as like that toadstool character.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so the game was pretty cool because you had different characters you could play as, and all the worlds looked really different from the first Mario.
Yeah.
But that's the
It just,
reason, because
oh,
it actually originally was this knockoff game that someone made, kind of wanting to do their own Mario.
yeah.
And Nintendo of America hated what Japan was doing, so they just bought this guy's game and put Mario in. So that's our
Had,
Mario 2.
did they pay some kind of royalty to use
Oh, I'm sure
Mario?
they bought the rights to
Okay.
it. That's a close up there. The differences. See, originally it was like that character holding this like I don't know what
Wow.
that is even, but that all they did was just change the characters. The characters.
They totally used the whole concept.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving along now to Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. 3. Let me play the
All right.
music here.
Koji Kondo.
Remember that? Mario 3 you were big into.
Wow. I did
That,
not.
that theme song,
I
yeah.
do now, but yeah,
I,
I didn't before.
and I really remember this Mario, remember with the yellow background? That just really sticks out to me. I remember like we wanted this game so bad, or at least me and my friends really wanted this game so bad. Mario 3 was a huge deal. So I think there was a bit of time between Mario 2, which I don't think a lot of people had Mario 2. I think a lot of people had Mario 1. Not too many people actually had Mario 2 because we didn't have it. We just borrowed it. And then when
Yeah.
Mario 3 came out, I think that was a big hit. It came out in what year? Super Mario 3 release date 1990, 1991. So that would have been right around the time of the Game Gear.
Wow. See,
So
this is
that was our
so
big
different.
games
Who
heyday.
even cares? Like, who even worries about when something's coming out anymore?
I know
That's
it
not
just
even a
comes out. You don't
thing.
even anticipate
Like,
things usually.
and I guess, no, I don't think you do. And even if you are into a certain game that's in this day and age, are people worried about the next release?
And
I
there's
don't
so
know.
many
I think they just,
options
yeah, the options
and
are
systems.
through the roof.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was wondering if I was mixing characters with this one, but I got it right. So mushrooms, I think those were those a thing across all three or
I
no? No, there
think
was different land roving
so. The
aliens, right?
mushrooms that he ate to like get bigger.
No, the mushrooms that killed you, the walkabouts.
What are
The
those called? There's a name for those.
um porcupine, fireballs, super
You could do
leaf.
fireball in one, I think. Couldn't you?
I
You
saw a
got like a
fireball in your preview just now though.
yeah. I'm not sure if you could do that in the first one or if it was new in 3.
Maybe you just spit pellets but not on fire. I don't
Here's
know.
if you look at the screen, here are some things that were kind of like
The
added.
fish, the
Yeah,
ducks.
they
There's the
had wings.
porcupine and the red leaf. Yeah.
Yeah, and the bullet,
Bullets.
the music note. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
new things were entered. This game was so like it really pushed the series further,
Yeah,
and you had a
it
lot
did.
more going on.
Chomping piranha plants.
Yeah, and you can get the leaf, and you could get like a tail, and you could fly. Like he would run and fly for a little bit.
Raccoon. Yeah,
Hmm. What was your last thing you remember that you wrote?
that was it. Those were the three.
Those are okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's some that you didn't mention that I thought you were going to mention. Mario
Mm.
3. Here's what sticks to my mind. Number one, warp whistles. Remember warp
I
whistles?
do, but I don't know if I was very lucky getting those things, or I don't know.
I remember there was like a
Yeah.
sound
Yeah, I
effect of the
do.
warp.
Because without those, I couldn't pass the game. Yeah.
Yeah, because we would skip. I
Yep.
think we would skip a lot of the parts we didn't want to replay with the warp
Hmm.
whistles. That was a good part of the game.
I forgot about it. I don't
Now,
think I was ever lucky enough to get a warp whistle. I think you kids figured this out, and I was already like into dating by then.
all right. The other thing I wanted to say about Mario 3 is well, we knew that he had new abilities. He could fly this time. I remember getting in trouble playing the game. Do you remember that?
By mom
Yeah.
and dad?
Yeah. Do you know which one incident I'm talking about?
I don't remember what you got in trouble for.
All right. So I'll say a word. Vacuuming. Does that bring up any memories?
Were you supposed to be cleaning the house
I think
back?
we
Was that
both
your
were.
chore? Yeah, I remember. I didn't know this was, well, it makes sense now why we didn't do our chores. We were obviously busy doing something else. So they left. They said, I want these things done before we get back. And next thing you know, they're pulling in the driveway.
Yeah, we
We're like,
we went
holy
sure, and we
shit.
went right to I believe it was in your rooms where we had it set up, so we
Yeah.
can see out the window
Yeah.
that was out to the driveway. They left, and we thought they were going to be gone like
All these
hours
connections
all
are
day.
being made now.
And we're like getting into the game, and suddenly their car pulls up, and we started
Because
freaking
because
out.
for whatever reason, 2 hours went by. I mean,
Time went by really fast.
so our plan was to at least drag the vacuum out and make it
Hmm.
look like we had just finished it and hadn't put the vacuum up.
They were not
I
doing
really don't think we did any vacuuming.
no, no. All we had time to do was like, oh crap, turn the game off, throw the controllers under the. I think it was like on the stand with like a
My television, the little
yeah the television rickety
topsy-turvy
stand, right?
for a baby to
Had
crawl
like
under.
this tablecloth, and we
Yeah.
threw it under there, and then we ran. And I think you ran for the vacuum. It had all these long tubes and stuff.
Yes,
The
the
old
central
vacuum that
vacuuming system.
this house we didn't even have a vacuum. It was a system built into the house where you plug in just a tube into the wall socket, and the vacuum's like in the basement, this big canister that suctions.
Yep.
So we drag out. You're running with this big
They need to bring
tube,
those
and
back, you know?
yeah, that was very
Do
efficient.
you
Like I
remember when
liked
we
it.
when I sucked up Skeeter with the
No,
vacuum?
just like his head
S-
popped in, right? A little
So
bit.
another cheat on chores is instead of cleaning their cage and taking the pan out and rinsing it and putting new paper down, I would just get in there and
Hmm.
hose and suction all the old seeds and litter stuff that we had down there. So he would get upset and he would go, "Rah, rah," and I was like, "Oh, you don't like it?"
Yeah.
And I went, "Zzz," and I went too close and it sucked him right off the perch.
My God,
And his little feet were sticking out.
this is a little
And
cockatiel
luckily
we're
his
talking about.
shoulders didn't go through. And I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh." I pulled him out. I told my kids that and they're like, "What if he would have went all the way down to the
Probably
canister
had
in the
no idea what
basement?"
happened.
Or
We really had some animal stories, I think, that we
we
got
dodged
lucky.
a lot of bullets, especially with the
Yes.
birds. Yeah.
Well, that's just one thing I really remember that was connected, I believe, with Mario 3. I think we were really
Okay.
into Mario 3, and we were all trying to get far, and we were all playing, and I think we even may have had some friends over, or I don't know, but it was just something that we were
Yeah.
like, all
So
right,
yeah,
so
I do clearly remember that one now. And now I'm thinking about that table that was like three legs
yeah, it was
and
the
it had
worst table to have a TV on.
like a mauve cloth over it with a cream colored doily. And it was
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
10-inch TV.
Hmm.
10.
They're huge now.
Yeah.
Yeah, those big, and it was a CRT, like one of those big TVs with the big back to it, like one
Yeah.
of those heavy clunkers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we had a lot of those. Remember the one that was like a Zenith TV with like wood trim?
On the floor in the family room?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
eventually went to my room when we got a new
Oh,
television.
lucky you. I didn't
That
remember
one was
that.
huge too. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
I
old
do remember
technology.
that.
We'll talk about that another day. But
Tech,
yeah,
yeah, low
that's pretty
tech.
much it for the video game stuff. Did you have anything else about any of the games or any other memories about video games?
No.
Well, the last little thing doesn't really have to do with video games, but just kind of while I have you here and we're
Hmm.
reminiscing, we're from the town of Warrenton, Missouri. I just wanted to real quick ask you, like, what 5 things could we do for fun in Warrenton? Because video games
Hmm.
weren't the only thing we did. So,
Well, starting out before I had a car, I listed stuff like that. Um, I put, of course, making stick houses in the woods. Like that was a big deal. So any
that's in
kind of
our
trails,
backyard.
trail systems we could create.
We had a
Um,
lot of property. Well, not we didn't really have
we
a lot of
did.
acreage, but it backed up to a big
It's
forest,
nearly, yeah,
right?
four
And it
acres
wasn't all
of
ours,
us.
but we played
We
back
thought we
there.
acted like it was. Yeah, we had, you know, 20 acres
Yeah, to play
free
in
range.
for real. Like there was
Uh,
ponds and creeks,
yeah.
and I've been back there, a couple years ago, and it's all built up now. All
Yeah,
that
there's
soil.
houses that are all back there, which is crazy. Yeah, right where our treehouse probably was.
It kind of makes me sad to think there's kids that aren't getting that type of experience. A lot of
Yeah, like
houses here where I live in Florida, there's not really any backyards. I'm like, that's
no.
sad that kids don't get backyard playtime,
Yeah.
which
I
was
think it's
most of ours.
important too.
And
Yep.
your kids are getting that because you guys got how many
10
acres?
really. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
we were on a quarter acre before just in a regular subdivision house, and it wasn't
mhm,
enough. It was, yeah, it was boring.
yeah, it is.
And then
All
kids are
right.
just going to go play video games and never
Ah,
do anything else. At least we had a variety, a little balance going.
right.
So trampoline is the other thing I listed. We spent a lot of time on the trampoline. A lot of near misses there as well, and
Gosh, a lot of
some
injuries.
a lot of bad stuff too.
A lot of friends got hurt. Josh, our
Mhm.
cousin, he blames me. He says I knocked his teeth out.
I wonder if he
It's
still
not
says
really
that.
funny, and it probably was my fault, but it wasn't like an intentional thing.
Well, it's not like
It
you
was
didn't get
like
knock
I
your own teeth
jumped.
out later. You're even. You knocked your own teeth out
No,
later.
I didn't. I was knocked over roller skating.
Oh, so you're blaming somebody else.
Yeah, blaming someone.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
were.
well, remember in that situation, the worker, he was
Mm-hmm.
like showing off and skating backwards, and he had the whistle, and anyway, he skated backwards. I'm just trying to exit,
Yeah.
shuffling off the skate floor and trying to exit. I'm almost there, and he just slams into me because he's going backwards. Didn't even see
Poor
me.
little
I just
guy.
went face first right into the
Why
floor.
didn't you catch yourself? Put your
I don't know.
hands
It's too
down, man.
fast.
Bro,
Yeah, I was not a very good skater at that point.
like a penguin. Face down.
Oh, that was a bad day. I remember that.
Uh,
So that was one of the things on my list was the skate barn,
yeah,
the
I didn't
Warrenton
even mean
skate
to
barn.
go into that, but that was a thing. We got
Yeah,
dropped off there pretty regularly.
that was
Yeah.
like the thing to do around Warrenton to have
Yeah.
fun. Like there's not a mall in Warrenton. Well, there's an outlet mall
Mm-mm.
now, but it wasn't
Yeah.
always
That was
there.
never even like a thing that the kids did. Yeah.
It's not, yeah, it's an outside outlet thing. It's not really fun to go to.
Hmm. Did we
Um,
go to the public pool much? I listed that because I have a memory or
mm,
two of that, but I don't know if we were really there that often.
I have a
I think
memory of that, like going like 3 to 5 times,
think I
maybe
remember it because I hated
follow.
it, and I still hate public pools. I just feel
Me
so
too.
judged, and I'm
Yeah.
always
And
afraid.
there's a
Like
lot of,
then
I remember
there's
it being very
popular kids.
crowded.
Yeah. Where am I
And then
gonna sit? There's not a lawn chair.
I remember being embarrassed because I was in school, and every time you go out, being awkward is like, don't look at me. So I
Yeah.
never wanted to go out where there was a lot of people.
I never wanted my hair to be slicked back in front of people. And then my ear would show.
Oh boy, what's wrong with your ear?
Um, I with water, I also said Woodridge Lake. I know we didn't
Yeah.
love that either, but we did go a few times. The snakes under the dock,
Oh, I
the
still think of that. Like
scariness
we were
about
crazy
all of that.
because there were tons of snakes on that dock. We would jump off of it into the water, and you'd have to get back on the dock with this rusty like ladder. But it was
Yeah.
as you went up it, you could clearly see the under part of the dock where there was a bunch of sticks and like a big snake nest under there.
Yeah.
So
And
every
not to
time I had to get
mention,
back out of the water, I was terrified that I was
yeah.
gonna get
Like I don't like swimming in lakes. So I think it's because of this where we lived, you know.
I
It
think it's
wasn't a
because
good
of that
condition.
and like going to the big lakes with our family. That was never really a great time.
No,
That's a whole nother show.
I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, we
Tubing,
always got
skiing,
beat
it was
up.
always a lot of pressure. You always got hurt.
Yep.
I can't do it. You got really hurt one year, remember that?
Yes,
Ouch.
you know.
Oh my God. So, and I
Yeah, it was
remember
horrible.
the main thing that scared me at those big lakes is the dam. Every time we would like go out and
Yeah.
find an area to tube or just float, if it was anywhere near within sight of that dam, I would not get out of that boat. I don't know
I
why.
mean,
I just
it's
thought I was gonna get sucked under, even if we were far away from it. Like it just looked awful,
right.
scary.
I mean, there's truth to that. You shouldn't get too close, and if you do, and
What are you gonna
and
do?
you're swimming, you're not getting back because you won't be able to swim out of it. And if a boat stalls out, that which has happened before, you're going in.
Right. I remember there was like buoys,
Yeah,
maybe
there
even
was
a
a fenced
rope
off
or
like
something to say don't go past this
nobody
point. But
beyond this point.
I didn't
Yeah.
even want to be in that water because that water is very dark.
Even though that was one of the prettiest lakes, it's still dark. It's not a swimming pool, you know, you can't hardly see. Do you still have that rockfish?
I had it for so many years. I have no idea where it is now.
Finally chucked it.
I don't think I would have thrown
So
that away because I was always so
what's
proud of that rock that looked like a fish that I found
you
right
had
there.
it? Yeah, that was the one good thing that came from the lake.
Yeah, that's funny. You remember that too. Um,
Jungle Gym, cat litter sandbox.
oh, hold on a second. Oh, yeah. So we had a
I
jungle,
used to like the jungle
like
gym.
a swing set on our in our backyard, right?
Hmm. The one
And
thing the dad ever constructed.
did he? I didn't know he
Yeah.
did that. Okay, I guess that would have had to been him. Yeah. And did it have a slide?
It did. It had a metal slide. It was all metal.
Didn't I get
Hmm.
shot by a BB gun or something from our neighbors when I was going down it? I remember like
Uh,
playing, and then they were trying to shoot a squirrel, is what they said. I think it ricocheted near me, or may have ricocheted.
oh my gosh. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
eating squirrels. Yeah.
Hmm. They would shoot them with, yeah, with their pellet gun. All right.
So pets,
Pets too.
the rabbit, um,
We tried to
Cadbury.
build our own tree house, but it never materialized into anything.
No,
All those years, we never got ourselves a tree house.
we never
We
got
were
our tree
always
house
out there
together.
like dragging wood, dragging boards, nails, hammers. Like we never did it.
How about Witch Creek Make Believe?
Oh yeah, we had two because we had one at the log house and
Yep,
the lake point. It continued.
you fell for it.
Yeah. So what she would do is we would go out into the woods and play, and you would say, "I'm going away now. Stay here," right?
Hmm.
And then like you would come back, but you were the witch, and you change your voice, and I believed it.
What's
Where's Lon?
weird to me is like what was going through my mind that that's what I chose to be, you know?
Oh, I know. Like
Kind of
what?
weird. I think the whole
Kids are
thing
weird.
is creepy.
All right. Well, what do you remember about the skate barn? Since we mentioned that a little bit ago.
I remember loving those big pickles in the jar
Oh, that's
that
what they serve? Oh,
nobody
yeah.
else ate.
Do you remember
Um,
that it was one way and then they revamped it? They like totally renovated it, maybe even added on or something, and they made it real nice.
really? I don't
Maybe
think
you
I was
weren't,
there for that.
maybe you didn't stick around long enough for that. But yeah, like
No.
because they would have a lot of hockey games
Hmm.
there, and eventually they made like stands, really like wooden
Oh,
bleachers, and stands,
yeah.
and they kind of expanded things and
Oh, I did
upgraded.
go in there once with it like that because I watched one of your roller hockey games.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
But I've been
that
in there within the last 6, 7 years, and it's an antique barn
antique.
now.
Yeah, I saw that online. It
And I
changed
brought
to
my
an
kids in there, and I was like, guys,
next time I'm in Morton, I'm gonna go there. I just gotta see.
yeah, that needs to go on the list of to-dos. Yep.
So yeah, I remember doing like the limbo.
Mm,
Remember they would have like little breaks in
yeah.
the
Yep.
free skate, and you do games like Limbo. I never won at Limbo. That was
Hokey
always
pokey.
Hokey Pokey. Yeah,
Yeah.
same old
They do the four
track songs
corners.
that they would
Yeah.
play.
And you had to get into a corner when the
Hmm.
music stopped. But if you're still out in the circle, you're out of there.
It's hilarious, and they have a lot of
Uh,
arcades,
yeah,
arcade
pinball
machines.
machine.
Hmm.
Love the pinball machine, but then I couldn't go over there half the time because that's the back wall where the teenagers would make out. And I didn't want to go
Yeah,
over
that's
there
right. There
because I
were
was
like
like,
areas of this little skating rink where
yeah,
you just didn't go.
the dark corners.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember the bathrooms were real creepy, and I think they painted the walls like dark purple.
Yeah, that I think so. I think at least the divider when you come in was dark purple too.
I remember like having like a birthday party there once.
Hmm. Can you request songs too by the DJ?
Oh,
I,
I
th
didn't never do that. Did you?
I might have sent a friend up there to do it for me.
Just too nervous.
Yeah,
So
I remember being in the middle of the circle and then I was I don't know what I was doing, but there was two girls doing the crisscross arms where you spin around,
lean
spin
backward,
each
like just
other.
spinning. Yeah.
Yeah, and it ended up breaking free and one of the girls had a big butt and she landed right on my face. All I remember was these white pants and this big butt
Wow.
coming down. And I thought I had like a black eye. And she didn't even apologize. I was just
Funny.
like, like same
Whoever
thing,
that
you
is,
know?
that's just hilarious.
Who was she? Yeah.
Yeah, she's out there somewhere, and we're still talking about it. Well, anything else about Warrenton?
Mm.
Remember the fair? You've been back to the fair
Oh, I
recently,
have
haven't
been to
you?
the fair, probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
Hmm.
It wasn't as big as I remembered. Maybe it was exactly the same. Maybe it's scaled back. I think it's scaled back because Dad was saying they used to have like big headliners playing
They did.
concerts and they don't really have that, but they had the Grease the Pigs and the little kids would run around trying to catch pigs. I mean, that's not something you see at any
No.
town event. And then the Demolition Derby.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
so
love that.
I
That's really
thought that
cool.
was pretty fun.
I remember going, this relates back to the trampoline. I was jumping on the trampoline with like our cousins, Mandy and Josh,
hmm
and we were doing crack the egg, and I was the egg in the middle.
Yeah,
And they were jumping and jumping and jumping, and then I rolled back. You know, you can't use your hands; they're
yeah.
holding onto your knees, and I roll backwards right underneath her, Mandy's Mandy's feet, as because she was jumping and she was in the air. As she came down, my head rolled under her feet, and
Gosh.
it hurt my neck.
Yeah.
Remember? And I had to go to the doctor, and then they put this neck brace on,
Oh, is that
even
what
though there
that
was
was
like no
from?
injury. It was like sprain, but there wasn't no broken nothing. And so I had to wear
Gee.
this neck brace. And it was during the fair. And I really wanted to go to the fair. And so I went in a neck brace, and no one let me ride any rides.
Of
I
course
remember
not.
standing in a line for like a little go-kart thing or something. And they're like, "You're not getting on this." I'm like, why? And standing there with this big neck collar.
Oh my gosh. So I didn't realize the neck brace was because of the trampoline injury.
Mm,
I thought maybe it was when we got hit in a car accident from behind or something.
no, I remember
Wow.
that one too in Chicago, right?
Hanover Park. I was just going through there thinking about it just a day or two ago. Yeah.
All
Those
right.
crazy
Well,
people.
I'm gonna say we've talked a lot, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you
Yeah.
for taking some time to talk about
Sure. Thank
the
you.
past. And it was really fun. I love that you brought up the Game Gear. That was like so cool.
Right. That's part of the treasures of this is
Yeah,
hearing from someone else's perspective. So
a lot of memories to uncover. All right, Lauren. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the week in St. Louis. You still live there?
rainy and cold.
Yeah.
You're not missing
Oh, it's
much,
beautiful down here in Florida.
but you don't have chickens.
Are you eventually gonna eat them?
Never, never. Love you.
Love
Bye.
you too.
This Week in History. At 11:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on January 28, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger lifts off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, and Christa McAuliffe is on her way to becoming the first ordinary U.S. civilian to travel into space. McAuliffe, a 37-year-old high school social studies teacher from New Hampshire, won a competition that earned her a place among the 7-member crew of the Challenger. She underwent months of shuttle training but then, beginning January 23, was forced to wait 6 long days as the Challenger's launch countdown was repeatedly delayed because of weather and technical problems. Finally, on January 28, the shuttle lifted off. 73 seconds later, hundreds on the ground, including Christa's family, stared in disbelief as the shuttle broke up in a forking plume of smoke and fire. Millions more watched the wrenching tragedy unfold on live television. There were no survivors. On January 27, 1945, Soviet troops enter Auschwitz, Poland, freeing the survivors of the network of concentration camps, and finally revealing to the world the depth of the horrors perpetrated there. And on January 25, 1905, at the Premier Mine in Pretoria, South Africa, a 3,106-carat diamond is discovered during a routine inspection by the mine's superintendent. Weighing 1.33 pounds, and christened the Cullinan, it was the largest diamond ever found.
Alright everyone, that's going to do it for this week's episode. I want to thank you again for listening and reminiscing with me. Hopefully, I've inspired you to go out and have your own discussions with your friends and family about things you loved from the past. I'll be back next week with a special guest to talk about our favorite TV shows from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and specifically TV shows that featured and focused on a family, where the main characters are all part of a family. For example, shows like The Simpsons would work, but a show like Stargate would not. So we'll be having fun getting into all that next week, and I hope you will join us. Lastly, if you have an idea for the show, I'd love to hear it. Just head over to one of our social media pages. Find us on Facebook by searching the Nostalgia Podcast, and on Twitter at NostalgiaPod_. If you haven't followed us yet on those accounts, please do so. Give us a like and share with your friends. Okay guys, stay tuned after the outro music for a few sounds that are sure to bring back some fond memories. Thanks everyone again, see you next time, and have a great week.
It's Friday night, and the mood is right. We're gonna have some fun, show you how it's done, TGIF.
Hi everybody, I'm Candace Cameron from Full House. I'm Bridget Cameron. And I'm Melissa Cameron. And my sisters and I are here to play TGIF Trivia. Tonight on Family Matters, Steve builds a robot. To circle A, win the Nobel Prize. B, find out it's really hard to create electronic snorting. Or C, make the world's first robotic nerd. The answer's next on Family Matters.
Fox tonight. It's all 70s all night. First, it's the all-new That 70s Show 100th episode, followed by a new 1-hour That 70s Show special, counting down to your favorite episode. It all starts now. Hello, Wisconsin!
Everyone knows America Online makes it easy to keep in touch with loved ones, send instant messages to friends, get news, weather, and sports. America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Call 1-800-4ONLINE.
Fox Wednesday on a special night and time.
You want to get out of jury duty? You just let me handle this.
Lois serves jury duty.
Is it okay to hate you?
All in favor?
Now the family's out to solve the crime.
We're lost. What? We're going to cry in the pants. No, we really are lost. What?
An all-new Malcolm. Then Ashton Kutcher is Sean's crazy cousin.
A shark just swam up and bit your board?
Not just my board.
Grounded for Life. All new at 8/7 Central tomorrow on Fox.